Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm diving into a story that feels like it's pulled straight from a movie script, but it's 100% real. It's a story about hidden secrets, love that transcends time, and the incredible discoveries you can make in the most unexpected places. It all starts with a simple home renovation, a project that many of us have taken on. But for one woman, pulling back the layers of her childhood home meant pulling back the layers of her family's history in a way she never could have imagined. Imagine this. You're back in the house you grew up in. Every corner holds a memory. Every creak in the floorboards is a familiar sound. You decided it's time for a refresh, a new coat of paint, maybe some new wallpaper. You start peeling back the old floral patterned paper in your mother's bedroom. The same paper that's been there for as long as you can remember. It comes off in brittle, sun-faded strips. And then you see it. Tucked away, nestled against the plaster, is a small, folded piece of paper. An envelope, yellowed with age. Its edges soft and worn. It's not just a random scrap. It was placed there deliberately, hidden from view for decades. Her heart must have been pounding. Who hides a letter behind wallpaper? Her first thought, of course, was that it was something her parents had hidden together. A sweet note from her father to her mother. Her dad had passed away years ago, and her mom was now living in a care facility, her memories clouded by time. Finding something from him would have been a precious gift, a tangible piece of their love story. With trembling hands, she carefully worked the envelope free. It was addressed simply to Eleanor, her mother's name, written in a strong, unfamiliar cursive script. This wasn't her father's handwriting. Curiosity now mixed with a sense of unease. Who was this from? Why was it hidden so carefully? She gently opened the fragile envelope, unfolding the single sheet of paper inside. The date at the top of the letter sent a shiver down her spine. It was written nearly 50 years ago, just a few months before her parents were married. As she began to read, the world around her faded away, and she was transported back in time, into a secret her mother had kept locked away behind a wall of floral wallpaper. The letter began, "My dearest Eleanor." The words were filled with a raw, desperate emotion. It was a confession, a declaration of love from a man who was not her father. His name was Thomas. He wrote about their stolen moments, their shared dreams of a life together, a life that seemed to be slipping through his fingers. He spoke of a promise they had made to each other, a promise to run away and start fresh, away from the expectations and pressures of their families. He poured his heart out onto the page, begging her to remember that promise, to meet him at their spot by the old oak tree at sunset on the day she received the letter. He wrote that this was his last plea. He couldn't bear the thought of her marrying someone else. He believed their love was true and that she was making a terrible mistake. "I will wait for you until the moon is high in the sky," he wrote. "If you don't come, I will know your answer, and I will leave this town forever. But please, Eleanor, don't let our story end this way. All you have to do is show up." The letter ended with a simple, heartbreaking line. "Forever yours, if you'll have me, Thomas." She sat there on the floor of the empty room, the letter clutched in her hand, utterly stunned. Her mother, the steady, predictable woman she had known her whole life, had this whole other chapter, this passionate, secret romance, a sliding doors moment. What happened? Did she get the letter? Did she consider going? Why did she choose her father instead? The question swirled in her head. This letter changed everything she thought she knew about her parents' love story. It wasn't just a simple, straightforward romance. It was a choice, a profound, life-altering choice, driven by a need for answers. She started digging. She went through old photo albums, yearbooks, anything that might hold a clue, and there he was. Thomas, a handsome young man with a kind smile, standing a few people away from her mother in a group photo from a town picnic. There was no obvious connection, but just knowing his name and seeing his face made it all the more real. She realized her mother wasn't in the care facility just down the road. She was a living library of memories, and this letter was the key to a locked room. She went to visit her mom the very next day, the letter safely in her purse. Her mother's good days were becoming less frequent, but that afternoon, her eyes were clear. She sat with her, holding her hand, talking about the old house and the renovation. Then, gently, she asked, "Mom, Do you remember a man named Thomas? The change was instant. A flicker of something deep and distant crossed her mother's face. A soft, sad smile touched her lips. Thomas, she whispered, the name like a forgotten melody. The daughter took a deep breath and pulled out the letter. She didn't read it aloud, but simply placed it in her mother's lap. Eleanor looked down, her fingers tracing the faded ink of her own name. And then the story came pouring out, not in a flood, but in gentle waves of memory. She told her daughter about Thomas, their youthful, all-consuming love, and the pressure she felt from her family to marry the right man, a stable and respectable man, who was, of course, her father. She confessed that she never saw the letter. Her mother, Eleanor's mother, had found it first. Fearing her daughter would throw her future away for what she saw as a fleeting romance, she hid it behind the wallpaper, right before the room was redecorated for the wedding. She told Eleanor that Thomas had left town without a word. Heartbroken and believing he had abandoned her, Eleanor went through with the marriage, burying her grief and her love for Thomas deep inside. She built a good life with her husband, a life filled with love of a different kind, a steady and enduring love that gave her a family and a home. But she never forgot the boy who promised to wait for her under the old oak tree. Listening to her mother, the daughter felt a profound sense of sorrow, not just for her mother and Thomas, but also for her father. Did he ever know he wasn't her first choice? Did he feel the shadow of a ghost he couldn't name? Her mother seemed to read her mind. She squeezed her hand and said, "I grew to love your father with all my heart. He was a good man, a wonderful father. It was a different kind of love, but it was real. I don't regret my life." The daughter looked at her mother, this woman she had known her whole life, and saw her for the first time as a young girl, faced with an impossible choice, a choice that was ultimately made for her. The story doesn't end there. Fueled by this incredible revelation, the daughter did something amazing. With her mother's blessing, she decided to try and find Thomas. It felt like a long shot after 50 years, but she had to try. She used social media, ancestry websites, and online forums. She posted the story, leaving out personal details, but sharing the core of the incredible discovery. The story went viral. People from all over the world were touched by this tale of lost love and hidden letters. And then a message came. It was from a woman in another state. She wrote, "I think you're looking for my grandfather." It turned out Thomas had kept his promise. He left town and never returned. He eventually married, had a family, and lived a full life. But according to his granddaughter, he always spoke of a girl from his hometown, the love of his life that he had lost. He never knew why she didn't show up that night. He died believing she just didn't love him enough. The daughter arranged a video call. She sat with her mother as they talked to Thomas's granddaughter. She showed Eleanor pictures of Thomas as an older man, surrounded by his children and grandchildren. Eleanor cried, but they were tears of peace. After all these years, the truth was finally out. The secret behind the wallpaper was a story of heartbreak, but also one of enduring love and the complex, messy, beautiful reality of our parents' lives before us. It's a powerful reminder that the walls around us hold more than just memories. Sometimes they hold the answers we never knew we were looking for. Thanks for listening to this incredible story with me today. It really makes you think, doesn't it? If you found this as moving as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing true stories. Let me know in the comments what you would have done. Until next time,